Welcome to our creative ecosystem. Do join us for some artistic logout, online biz support, and inspiring interviews. My mission is to popularize Polish handmade and support crafting businesses. And I do it via handmade workshops and business coaching for other crafting artists. Do join our world for some inspiration. I gladly invite you to another interesting, inspiring interview. I must admit that I get those amazing guests to my podcast from mastermind groups. And I wouldn't be me if I wouldn't mention that this year I decided that I do want to lead my own group of masterminders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was starting to count the groups I was in. All of those groups put the brick to evolve my business, evolve my mindset, evolve the person that I am today. That's why I got hungry for my own group of masterminders. It's not that I will own those people, obviously, but I want to invite you, if you're looking for a mastermind for 2021 and you're kind of sick and tired of things that you don't want to discuss and you're clear about what you wish to discuss and what goals you want to achieve in 2021, I think you could find something in a new mastermind that I'm going to be setting up since January 2021. So just to invite you and get you introduced to the idea of mastermind, I want to welcome you to another episode, which is interview with my mastermind buddy. So have a nice listen. And if you're interested in mastermind for 2021, just click down below in the description. Okay, hello there. That's the first time I'm recording a proper English-speaking episode for the new podcast. So I'm really glad that my first guest is Amel, who is my fellow membership, what do you call it? Like mastermind member, fellow lady, I would say we're this online lady mafia. That's a better
yes,
term.
I like that. The online lady mafia.
Yeah, I don't want to introduce Amel too much because I'm going to be totally unobjective because I just adore her from the perspective of, exchanging of knowledge, being from totally different field of knowledge and totally different business, but still having this common ground where we can exchange ideas. So Amel, I'll just ask you to introduce and tell the whole story, the whole story.
What? You want the whole story? Are you serious?
Yeah, you'll see. It's so inspiring.
I will still try to make it short. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening. I'm excited to be part of this great new podcast from Agnieszka. Congrats for this great initiative. So my story. So my name is Amel Derragui. I'm the founder of Tandem Nomads, which is a podcast show and entrepreneurship platform designed to help global nomads build a portable business. And anybody as well who wants to have the flexibility of life and business and work. Now, portable businesses are harder than ever, but this is something that I've been doing for the 10 past years, running my business on the move. And it came from the fact that first of all, I've been a global nomad my whole life. I come from Algeria, born in India, raised in 5 different countries or so. And basically, I've been raised on the move, never lived more than 2-3 years in a country. By the time of the age of 16, I told to my parents, "You're ruining my career." That tells you the mafia. I was already very ambitious, like, "Parent, you're ruining my career." And I managed to negotiate with them that I would leave the household at the age of 16 and went to high school in France, lived on my own since the age of 16, basically. So that was a big one. And my entrepreneurial journey started when I was 14. I've always been into solving problems, and I've started whenever I would see a problem, and the first problem I've met in my journey was racism, and racism in my school. And so I started my first entrepreneurial journey to fix it. I believe that businesses fix structural problems in the society. It's more than just about money. And then I started working in advertising when I finished my studies in France. And I started my career. Actually, in the meantime, got hired by an American company and traveled back and forth between the US and France to sell encyclopedias door to door. And then I grew in the company, had my own team of sales people, and then ended up in Arizona to finish my MBA, then came back to France, and I started my career in advertising. And that's when I was like very much passionate about we'll talk a lot about mission statement. My biggest thing was how companies can use their communication marketing budget to make an impact. So I was really lucky to end up in a company where I was in a special unit where we were working on that. That has always been important to me, the whole mission statement of corporate companies. But I was really happy. Everything was great. I was ready to buy my apartment. I was like, yes, I'm making it. I'm getting to that dream career I wanted. And then I went to Iran to visit my parents on holidays, and I met who became my husband. And so Michael and I have been married now for over 10 years. And when he met me, when we met each other, I was already telling to my parents, I will never live my career for a man, and I will never move again. We'll never say never.
Sorry, yeah.
Because I did quit my job and then moved to Iran. And that's when I started my business, my first business as a consultant for corporate companies. And I was doing strategic and marketing consulting related to, assessing any challenges that they have through their business strategy. But most of the positioning was about mission statement and how do we have a marketing strategy that sells while making an impact. That was something that I was very much positioned on. And I did this for 6 years while moving from a country to another. We went to Austria after that, and now we're in New York City. So I told you don't tell me to tell you the whole story.
But that's so fascinating, how to, take this advantage of being here and there in different countries, different cultures. That's why I wanted this story, because it's like sometimes we live in the same place and we've got like this narrow perspective, and you probably have this huge comparison how it is to, lead the business in other countries.
Yeah, the world is our playground for sure. And we're I'm so grateful for this experience and this lifestyle. To be honest with you, it does come with a lot of challenges. And one of the many challenges, on top of identity, to be honest with you, I'm jealous of you, Agnieszka, because you have this huge business that related to embracing our culture and embracing, the know-how. This is beautiful. And I'm a melting pot of so many different cultures that when people ask me where you come from, I still can't answer. But but I do love that we can connect to any culture when we have a similar mindset and the similar values, and that's what matters at the end. But I do value as well the heritage. I think heritage is something very beautiful, and art, and we'll talk about it today. Art and artisanal and handmade stuff are a beautiful way to actually nurture that heritage, but also share it with the world. So I think that's a beautiful thing. But just a side note, talking about the challenges, just to finish, one of the challenges I had in talking about impact was the position of many expat women who gave up their careers on the move. And so I wanted to talk about that because I found that women were very vulnerable in terms of financial security when they gave up everything to leave on the move for their partner's jobs. And I needed to talk about that issue. And that's when I started a podcast, just like you do, to talk about this problem and empower women to think that they don't have to give it up all. It's not because you want to take care of your kids that you want to be able to support your husband on the move that you have to give up everything. Just with a hobby, if you have like a hobby, you can build a little bit of foundation to have a bit of side money so that you can create a bit of safety net. And even if it doesn't make a lot of money, you are building the foundations in case something happens. You can immediately pivot and put a big focus on it. So this is where I started this podcast on the side of my consulting business. And that had turned into something much bigger very quickly. A year and a half later, I had to close my consulting business and focus on Tandem Nomads and provide one-on-one coaching for online businesses to help people grow a portable business. There's a difference between online business and portable business. And maybe we can talk about that later.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And so basically I do it through coaching and online courses. But heritage, I would love to talk about that with you.
Yeah, that's what I was like leaning into with the question, because it seems that what you do, this difficult situation that your clients find themselves in, it seems to be this sometimes a turning point in their life. Like, I just imagine the situation like my Jacek would get a super fancy job. Now I wouldn't leave the place I'm in. But like 10 years ago, I used to follow him. Like when I was pregnant, he had like proposition, or even during studies, because we're like this couple that we know each other since we were children. So that's a long story. But, there was always, when I look back, there was always that he got promoted. So I moved with him and like supported him. And then I found a fancy job. I like, they needed architects, like qualified architects. I found a perfect job. But looking at it from the perspective, I see that it was, for me, this moment of change was a push to challenge myself. But there was one time when I didn't get the job. Actually, it turned out to be the blessing, because I started my own business, and that kind of,
there we go.
I was always like pushing it away in time, but that was the push to do it now, right? But when I saw that, I just like felt this, shivering on my back. It's like, I'm not worth it. I'm not, good enough. And all those, nasty feelings that drag us down with this downward spiral. So I just admire what you do, because I can just imagine for some women, especially probably, but also men, like going somewhere, following your partner, then you find yourself in totally different situation. It's not that you go there and you've got this proposition like your partner does. You have to like kind of fight for it, own it, like create it for your own. And that's really difficult, because when you get rejected once or 3 times, you don't really want to, try it out for the 10th time and send the CV once again. So I've been there. That's why I wanted you on this podcast, because those are feelings that we don't talk a lot. Like, they are not that visible. There is this like something in the background going on. And it's thanks to you that people are talking about it, perceiving those partners that support other partners. But what I was aiming at as well is not only the fact that how you support them, but I was really curious about the story, because you said about this identity, like, it's easy for me to, claim that I promote Polish handmade, because I was born in Poland, raised in Poland. And even though I studied in many places abroad, that kind of gave me the perspective. It kind of made me take that decision to stay in Poland, because I never felt I belong in other places. I felt I grow. I open my mind, but I kind of felt more, maybe not different, but I kind of felt stronger, that I have some unique qualities, and it made me appreciate who I am as a, Pole, as a woman, as a mother, and, with all those cultural differences. So I admire you, but because for me, that was really hard to live in other countries. That was so strong, this feeling that I kind of need my homies around me. Yeah. But what I was aiming at about this identity, I feel that even now, if I would move to other country, I guess all the memories and all the heritage and all the people, and maybe like grandma, granddad, and all the memories of those people, that would be the anchor that would create my identity. And I know that you've got some stories with handmade in that. So that's just, I'm just like giving you voice in a moment, but I just wanted to, drop this idea about handmade, because it seems that no matter the country, no matter the culture, the more I read about it, the more people I meet, I see that handmade seems to be this international language where you have like your grandma, granddad, or parents. That's this language of body, like of touch, that you give to your kids when you want to convey those, warmest feelings, like spend time together, or teach something like, physical skills, or maybe give this awareness that you are able to do something with your hands. So you're like, that's this empowerment when you give those kids this ability to create something on their own. And I see that's present in every culture I meet. And it comes with handmade. So that's so beautiful. And I know that you also have some memories of that.
Yeah, I love anything handmade, and I love